welcome back to another episode of On a Related Note podcast. I'm Mecca.
And I'm Mia.
And we have been going through a bit of really cold weather lately, and there's more to come. And
I'm not built for this, bro.
And yeah, I mean, it's seasonally appropriate, but I don't like it. So I'm ready for spring already. And with that in mind, today is going to be a little bit of our more self-indulgent episodes where I think we mentioned like 2 episodes ago that like, oh, maybe we should do a plant tour. So this one is the plant tour. But before we get into that, I just want to mention that the day before this drops will be my birthday. Yay! I'm gonna be 27 or something like that. Supposedly, apparently, I'll be 27. So I don't really have any birthday plans. I just want to get some donuts. I want some boba. I guess I just want junk food.
You want food? I mean, that's fair.
And then I'm gonna be going to an archery range for the first time with Mia and my friend Mike. So I'll definitely have a picture or something of that when we go, because
a picture of 30.
Cool. But I'm gonna only post one though. But yeah, so there's that. And
my short little story time is that we've started playing Ace Attorney Investigations again because we have more time. And
really, we just made the time.
Yeah, we were making the time. And we've been giggling about this on and off all day. But there is a character who's the mascot of like the police force called the Blue Badger. But in this game, they expanded on the mascot idea, and there's like 4 of them. And one of them, what is his name? The Bad Badger. The Bad Badger, and he like gets the bad guys, but he has a gun in his hand. So I was like, oh, man, why does man have a gun? Like, that's crazy. And it seemed like it might be sewn to the costume. I don't know. And I was like, that's a little weird. But we've just been calling him the Blicky Badger because we're unserious. Like, I can't exactly remember why.
I don't know. Like, it was literally last night.
Yeah, we were playing it like midnight.
She was joking. She was like, "Why he got a Blicky?" And
yeah, I was like, "Why he got that Blicky though?"
And then I was like, "Oh my god, the Blicky Badger!" And we were just like cackling, man. Like, it was like 1 a.m. Yeah. It was almost 1 a.m. and we're just, those are goofy hours. So
yeah, the Delulu hours start really at like 10.
I'd say 11, but depending on the day, it could be
the
10.
Early onset Delulu hours started like 10. And
pre-gaming.
And then it kicks into full gear, and then it's just downhill from there, or uphill, depending on how you view it. But yeah, Blicky Badger, that's just been in my mind.
And then we were like, we need a drill remix of the Blue Badger theme song. Why does a hip hop version of it exist?
And it's like not bad at all. Like I'm kind of impressed. I still need the drill one to come into existence. Yeah. So like I can't do it, but like
who can I commission to do
right?
A Blue Badger?
Because it needs to happen.
That's right.
Yeah. And my fidget friend, if you shall call it a friend, it's a friend, is very thematic. It's this little piece of fake plant that I don't remember. I think I literally picked it up off the floor of like a craft store.
Oh, wow.
Because it was like broken off, and I thought it was cute. So I just said, "Nope."
Oh, I thought this was something you had.
No, I don't know what this plant is. I literally just said, "Oh, that's cute." And I took her. So she's just been like a part of a random decoration in my room for like 3 years or something. I don't know what kind of plant this is. I'll put a note if I can figure it out. But she's cute. So I will be oh my gosh, a piece just broke off.
I think you won't be playing with it for long.
I won't be like tugging at this part. I'll just mess with this. Ooh.
Mistakes were made.
Anyway. So plant tour.
Yes. Plant tour. So I don't even know like where to start. We like plants. And it's like, I guess we probably always have had some kind of appreciation for plants, but
like our grandparents has like plants in their front yard, backyard. They do it up. Like maybe it like subconsciously started there. I don't know.
Maybe, because as I'll get into, several of my plants have come from me taking bits of my grandma's plants. So maybe, but I feel like the getting serious about it and like actually starting the collection of houseplants was a thing from the pandemic. For me, it was mostly just get into it when we were on lockdown.
Get into it,
lockdown. I didn't know for the longest time that was a real song and that it was a Doja Cat song because I only ever heard it in the Taco Bell commercials. And then one day I heard it at
crazy.
my job and I was like, wait a minute. I thought it was just for the Taco Bell commercial. But anyway. Yeah, so who wants to go first, I guess?
I guess I'll go. I don't remember if I had any plants as like wait. I did. I didn't even type this one down. I don't remember what grade it was. Let's say like second, maybe third grade. I was in elementary. Our class had gotten these like, what do they call them? Nursery pots or whatever, like the starter plants. I think they were cabbages.
Oh, I remember this because you put this in our grandparents' front yard. Is that the one?
No.
Oh, never mind.
And I think we just had a pot in here. I don't know if I brought it to their house to plant, but I remember we had like I just had a cabbage. I'm pretty
sure. They do have those ornamental like cabbage plants.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a cabbage. I could be wrong because I literally just thought of this. I forgot that existed, but I think that might have been my first plant that was mine. And then in high school, we had a horticulture club that was right outside the door from my art class, and they would like come in and out sometimes to like use the bathroom or whatever. But there was a little mini greenhouse back there, and one day they were bringing in trays of cacti. I don't really remember why they had a surplus of them, but they just said, y'all we're giving away. If you want a cactus, you take one. And I was like, don't mind if I do. Like, why not? And literally, I wasn't like, ooh, I've always wanted the cactus, but I just thought, let's get one that's kind of cute.
Yeah, why pass it up?
Who doesn't look like half dead? So I grabbed one that looked lively, and that was my cactus for a long time, like several years. I think it was either 9th or 10th grade. It was like early high school, I believe. And then I had it until, was it last year or 2022? 3?
I think
2025 now. Yeah, I named her Chi because Chi in Japanese means power. And to me, looking at cacti, they're like rigid, sturdy. They like survive in arid climates. Like they built for that. I was like, wow. And like, of course, the spikes.
I can't remember because I actually learned.
They're like a defense mechanism, but also like offense because like that's the ops, So I always was like, wow, she's queen. That's queen behavior. Chi, power, yes. Also, Chobits. Wasn't her name Chi? Because that's like the only word she could say.
I think so.
I feel like around that time, I was thinking of Chobits for some reason. Like I don't really know why, but I connected it mentally with like Chi and power and like Dragon Ball Z, and they had, magic. Let me stop talking. But yeah.
Oh, well, that's the end of the episode, guys. Not stuttering. Yeah, we definitely need to
see y'all in 2 weeks.
So something? I just looked this up to make sure that I wasn't wrong. Chi in Japanese is also blood.
I knew that.
And okay, so then you poke yourself on a cactus spine.
I don't think I made. I mean, I knew it meant blood, but I don't think I ever made that comparison. That's crazy. For a while though, she didn't really have any spikes because there was an incident on my bus where I was messing around. I was being a little too silly, too goofy, and I was like tapping her like this on the back of the seat, not thinking that was pulling the spines out. So I kind of like declawed her, and she only had like.
Was this on the way home day one?
No,
because when else did you take her to school?
Dang.
Yeah, why are you just taking her
day one? No, it had to have been the day I was bringing it home. I'm sorry. She only had like half her spines for like the rest of her life. And I didn't realize till I got home and noticed like, wow, my hands aren't bleeding. Why is that?
Now some poor kid then hit a bump on the bus and then like now they got cactus spines in their forehead.
It wasn't me. But yeah, that was my first kind of real plant that's in my brain space, and she was my ride or die. I neglected that cactus for a while, like for months actually, because I kind of forgot. It was towards the beginning of me having her. I forgot I had her, and she was in the living room, like on the floor by the window, so out of sight, out of mind. And one random day, like a whole season later, I walked over and I saw her, and I was like, "Whose plant?" Oh
my god! I'll give you some grace because you weren't really
I was a first time
intentional.
plant mom.
You were, and it wasn't really intentional. It fell in your lap.
Yeah.
You were like, I guess
it was the opportunity. But yeah, I was like, oh my god, she's dead. Somehow it wasn't, and I was like, see, that's why you're powerful though. Like you lasted like 4 months with no water. That's crazy.
You said your name was a blessing from the gods.
But yeah, that was my first plant.
I was sad when she ultimately,
like literally, I think she started getting. I'm gonna be putting in a lot of pictures because I was going through my photos earlier and finding a bunch of my plant photos. But she started growing the arms like a couple years after I had her. Like it took a while, and I just assumed it wouldn't happen. But then like one day it was a little like bud, and it was like a little like pinky. Like I was measuring it with my finger as it was growing, and I would take like comparison photos. But it was so cute. So she had like really 2 long, strong arms at one point, and she got top heavy, and I had to use dowels and stuff to keep her from like breaking at the base because it was dangerous. But I don't know why exactly. Maybe it was root rot or something because I was watering her and she was getting sun, especially when I was in the dorms. The windows were very plentiful with the sunlight, but the arms looked fine, but the base of the main cactus did not. And I was like, what if I like rip the arm off and like put that in the soil? Maybe I should have tried it, but I just didn't want to break the arm. Right. And I would have dreams where something would happen and the plant would get tousled and the arm would break, or like the main cactus would break, and I was devastated in a dream. And I woke up thinking it was real because it felt like the rest of the dream was pretty real. So I would wake up and go run, and I'm like, Chi, and she's intact. I'm like, oh, okay, my child. But yeah, I was very devastated when you had like called me. It was like, it's looking grim. And I'm like, don't tell me that.
She left her home. Like one semester, she brought her back
the home. Car rides was getting treacherous for the unstable foundation. So I was like, you're just going to stay with the family.
Yeah, and I mean, I took care of her as best I could, and I sent pictures and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So she's no longer here, but I remember actually I did some research to find out what kind of cactus it was so we could figure out how to propagate it. And I think it's called a blue candle cactus.
Yeah, it looked really similar to another type of cactus. So we didn't know. I don't think the horticulture people knew either. So like,
it still wasn't enough.
R.I.P. Yeah. My friend that I roomed with in college drew a picture of her one day, and I still have that photo. I will put a picture of that too because it was super cute. And I was like, this is the first art of Chi. I'm surprised I never drew her. Like, that's crazy. I have photos, but I never drew her. So I was like, this is a great memorial piece. Thank you so much. Like, and I had it on my wall for like 2 years. R.I.P. Forever. Rest in power. You know?
Chi. Rest in Chi.
Anyway, your turn.
So we're going to go back and forth?
You have a couple more plants down than me, so you might as well say a couple, and then I'll say one, and yeah.
So the first plant that comes to mind before I was actually in, like 100% in, I want to say it was junior or senior year of college. There was a workshop that one of the student orgs put on, and it was paint a plant pot, and then they gave you a plant to take home in it. So I think the plant that I took, it was a succulent, or they bought one main one and then gave everybody leaves to propagate. And I could not get it to grow. So I didn't have a plant. I just had a pot now that I painted. In my mind, I was trying to make it look like the black and gold NXT letters. That's a wrestling reference. Or not letters, logo. So I was using black and gold paint, but it ended up just looking like Charlie Brown's shirt. So I was gonna name
100%.
Yeah, I really don't even know how that. Somebody took my hand and was making me do that, and they were like, "Nah, we want Charlie Brown." So I named the plant Charlie, but the plant never came to be. So then I just had this pot, and it comes back up later. So keep that in mind. And then also in college, I took a class where the teacher, he was a mad cool dude, and he gave us all at the end of the semester. And this was fall 2018. I do have a better time frame for that one. He gave us all Jerusalem artichoke bulbs, or like the roots. And he was like, you can cook them or you can plant them. So I think I had intended to try to eat it, and I didn't. So I was like, well, I'll just plant it then. So I planted it in my grandparents' backyard, and then that following spring is when I studied abroad in Korea. So towards the end of my time in Korea, they started sending me pictures like, oh, your plant's starting to grow. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So when I got home, it had actually kind of blew up, like it exploded. And it took over the corner of their little flower bed. And by the end of the summer, it was above their roof. Like, right?
Oh, well,
I have pictures.
Of the like patio?
Yeah. The patio roof.
It was nearing the top. I'm not sure if it went above it. But it was very tall. I can't really remember. But it wasn't above like their house roof.
Right.
It didn't get that high. I don't think.
But that thing, the roots, the stems were really thick and kind of like, they were like prickly. Fuzzy? Yeah. It was like a defense mechanism, but there were still bugs crawling all over it. But the flowers were really pretty. They kind of looked like, at first glance, they kind of look like sunflowers, but when you actually look at them, they probably look like a different kind of flower, but I don't know. They were pretty. It was a really cool experience. And at the end of the season, we cut it down, and that was that. But for the next year, it kept trying to come back. Like, it would keep sprouting new things, and my granddad kept having to like dig up all the roots and stuff, and now it's gone. But it's really resilient. It was pretty.
I had a plant like that too. I didn't type them down because I couldn't remember what they were called, and I don't have like identification for them. But by the time this comes out, I will probably have figured it out. So I'll put it in the video. But I had gotten these 2 plants that I also planted in my grandparents' front yard because they didn't mind. It was like one purple flowering plant and then one leafy plant. And the flowering one, that thing did not want to let go. Like, they let it do its thing, but it spread, and it was like low-key invasive. Yeah. And it was like growing in between all their other plants, and they were like, all right, that's cute, you wanted your plant here, but this has got to go. And they would pull it up, but it was in the ground, bro. Like, it just kept manifesting, and I'm pretty sure it's still there, like in smaller amounts, but it's still over there. I'm not really sure what happened to the leafy one. I don't know if it's still over there. It might have died at some point, but yeah, that purple one, she said, I'm here to stay. It's your mistake.
This is my turf now.
Not my turf.
But yeah, you can go ahead.
The second plant I have started this trend that I liked to, I don't know, it started in high school, and I'm just sticking to the bit. So it's pothos. It's like a normal pothos. And I'm pretty sure it was a propagation from one of your plants that I low-key didn't expect to like live because, I only had chia for real up to that point. So I was like, I don't really know if I have a green thumb, but going strong. But I named it Mido. Hear me out. If you know the jokes that I'm not sure if any other generation other than ours necessarily had, but when you were in science class, it's this really funny thing like, oh, the only thing I remember from class is like the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, because for some reason that was just like learning cell parts was just such a big part.
It really was.
Of like grade school education in a science class for whatever, like, why do I need to know this? Like in every semester, like, but it was just a joke. Like, yeah, if I forget anything, if I forget everything, I know for a fact I'm going to remember that the powerhouse of the cell is the mitochondria. So I thought it would be a little funny to name my plants after parts of the plant cell, because why not? So it started with mitochondria because that's the powerhouse, that's the brain. And I named the pothos Mido. It's not mitochondria technically, it's just Mido, but it comes from mitochondria. So that was the beginnings of a couple other plants that I have that are named after cell parts. Just because, why not?
Yeah.
Like I have some that are like, and I'll get to those, but I have some that are named after like really pretty things or like the deep meaning because it was a certain part of my life. And then I have Mido from mitochondria. I don't regret it. It's funny. Like Mido was a good name too.
It really is.
But I'm like, yeah, so this is my plant Mido from mitochondria. And I like telling people that.
Don't let us still be running this podcast when she eventually gets cats, because boy.
Oh, yeah.
We're not getting into that.
We're not going to get into that, but I have a plan. Anyway, Okay, so this plant is the smallest one I have, so it was easier to have in the camera frame. So it is a bromeliad, which is like a tropical plant, and it usually has this like red or pink or whatever flowering kind of leafy part in the middle. It has for a couple years not been there. I'm not sure if they grow back. I don't think they do. I think I did that research before, and it was like once it breaks, it's gone. And I was like, I'm so sad. But this one is named Tiki. Take a wild guess at what this is named after. You're probably wrong. It is named after endoplasmic reticulum. Tiki from reticulum.
Man, how is this not just the funniest thing? We were very amused coming up with these because I mean, I had some input.
Yeah, she was assisting me. I had a list in one of my other phones, like one of my older phones. I'm not sure if that exists anymore, but that's okay because we've just been coming up with them on the fly. But yeah, so I have Mido and Tiki. I think I kind of got these around the same time. Like Tiki came a little bit after Mido, but they were pretty much with Mido. And I give my plants genders, but at the same time, I'm kind of loose with it because plants technically have like both parts, like female and male. So I say like, oh, Mido is he, they, because Mido just feels like a guy name, but also like plants don't have gender. They don't like, it's not a human. So I just be like, oh, they, but it's giving male, but like they. Mm-hmm. And same for Tiki. It just felt like a boy. So I was like, yeah, he, when I referred to him, but it don't matter. Plants are plants. So this is Tiki. He's low-key been like this and this for like 2 years. But it's not dead yet, so I'm gonna assume it's fine. Let's hope for the best. I'm gonna be so sad if Tiki dies because I've had Tiki for a while and Mido and Tiki are like brothers. Like they're all siblings, but like they're like close. They came from the same
naming litter.
Yeah, and they were like, I got them close in time in like high school, so if one goes, the other will be without a soulmate, and I'm gonna be sad.
Hey, you gotta word it like that.
Anyway.
Yeah. So the next of my
I like to shake my plants' leaves like their hands. Like I'll greet them like this. Yeah, I do that to Mecca's plants too.
So yes, I have a snake plant that I named Rava, and Rava, if you've ever watched Legend of Korra, it's from that. I named her off based off of that. She had a like a water tray that I painted, and I put like these little ornamental things that kind of just felt like it just felt like Rava. But yeah, I got this one at the end of the 2020 summer. Completely divided from because my grandma has a really big snake plant, and
yeah,
it needed to. They like to be kind of cramped in their pot. But hers kind of got,
oh my gosh, her plant is huge.
It kind of got uncomfortably so. So she took it out of the pot and then broke it apart kind of. So she gave me a piece, and that's Rava.
I heck you want a snake plant too.
Well, there's more where it came from. And then if we think back to the Charlie Brown pot, I got a succulent from Lowe's at around the same time, end of the summer 2020. It is a golden glow stone crop. And I put that succulent in the Charlie Brown pot. So that plant is called CJ, Charlie Jr.
Charlie Jr.
And that boy, again, Charlie Brown, so it's just a boy to me. But over the last few years, he has grown so much, and he's like huge right now. And I'm like, he's just leaning over the pot with all his little extensions.
CJ Jr.
The third.
CJ Jr. just sounds funny.
And it's funny because I'll just skip ahead and say this one. So I have CJ. I propagated CJ once. And I haven't had a lot of luck propagating succulents or just him. But I took a couple of his arms, I guess you can call them, and I stuck them in a pot. And I was like, let's see if that works instead of trying to do the leaves individually. And that was summer 2022, and I still have it, so it worked. But I don't have a name for that one. It's just
should have did that for Chi.
Well,
pick another cactus. It's gonna feel so weird because Chi was my OG. Like, can't ever never replace Chi, but like I kind of want another cactus.
So Rava and CJ are kind of my first like official plants. So and then we have um the CJ propagation. So, you know, he's the third, I guess, but I didn't name that. It's just a couple little bits of succulent in a pot. So, yeah, you can pick up with yours.
Uh, so speaking of Lowe's, actually I bought Tiki from IKEA, pretty sure. It was
Yes.
in a different pot before. And I just kind of just kept it in the same pot that I bought it in. But my next plant I bought from Lowe's. I'm 97% sure I bought from Lowe's or Kroger. It was one of the two, but I think it was Lowe's, and then the one after that I bought from Kroger. Okay, I'm going to need to remember that. I bought a peace lily because I thought it was cute. That's really it. I knew nothing about peace lilies before I got it, but I wanted another leafy plant. So I was like, oh, this one looks like it's not half dead. Let's get this one. So I did. And the name that I gave it was Lori, spelled Laurey. And that name, I won't get into the full story, but I had a dream. Had a dream once. And I don't tend to have dreams where like people have names. Like maybe subconsciously they have a role in the dream and like I know their role. So maybe like I refer to them by the role or something. Or if they're a friend I have in real life, we don't call each other our names necessarily, but like I just know them. But for whatever reason, I've had like 2 or 3 dreams in my entire life where there was a name spoken that I've never heard of. And I woke up like, I'm writing it down. I'm gonna name something in my future this. And Lori was one, and it was like I had a child, like a baby, and I named him Lori. And it was specifically a boy. And I woke up thinking, I mean, it could be a boy name, but when I hear Lori, I kind of just think Lauren, and I think more feminine. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna honor the baby in the dream because that dream we were roughing it out. So I woke up and typed it out, and it was like, I'm gonna name something in the future Lori. And then I ended up getting a peace lily and thought, you know what? I like this name for you. You're Lori. You're Lori now. So I got that in 2020, pretty sure. And I had it in my first dorm. And Lori was a girl. Actually, I'm pretty sure I made the plant a girl, if I'm remembering correctly. So sorry, dream baby. But I pretty sure she was actually mostly dead when I bought her, and I just didn't know because she didn't last the semester. She died in like 2 months, and I was very sad because she had a lot of sunlight and I was watering her frequently, but for whatever reason, it just died. So yeah.
Yeah, R.I.P. Lori.
I did have a drawing class that semester, and we had to go out and like pick up plants and draw them for like a contour line drawing practice. And I already had a couple plants, so I lied a little bit and only picked like one plant and just drew my plants for the rest of the assignment.
Wow.
But it was, I mean, like I have a perfectly good piece of leaf here with a lot of leaves, and it was quite complicated to draw, but very fun. So I'm going to put a picture of that. And then I have a photo of Lori with a bunch of origami cranes because I was helping Mecca fold a bunch of cranes one year. And I thought they were cute on my plants. So I just decorated it like this for like a month. So that was my first attempt with the peace lily.
So my next plant, these are kind of in chronological order. They are. So I, again, propagated some leaves from my grandma's pothos. And I did it in water. And then once the roots grew, I put it in a pot. And then once that plant was established, I named her Judy. And with interchangeable spellings, Judey or Judie. I couldn't choose which spelling I like best, so it's interchangeable. But Judy has gone through a lot. Right now, she's like, she's doing all right.
Which
but
one's Judy?
The biggest pot over there.
Oh.
She's had really long trailing vines, but not much foliage going on inside the pot. I've cut her vines so that the middle could grow. And right now she doesn't really have any trailing vines, but she's still cooking. And I named Judy off of a video game character. We'll leave it at that.
Oh.
And then there's Abby, who is a propagation off of Judy
Oh.
because either that or I had leftover leaves. So I got Judy spring 2021, and then October 2021, Abby came about, and I think is because yeah, I think I just had leftover water propagated leaves or something. I don't know. Um, Abby was named from an Instagram poll that I made asking people what
Really?
I should name my plants.
Oh, wait.
I have 3 plants that are named that way. Abby's one of them. And then I have Holly, a spider plant. Um, because it's a spider plant, all the responses were like Tom Holland or Spider Man or, Spider Man related. So I was like, okay, Tom Holland, let's do Holly.
Cute.
So she's a spider plant that I, again, took from my grandma. I got a piece from my grandma's spider plant, and that's Holly. And Holly flowered last year, actually, for the first time. And yeah, I got Holly in October 2021 too. So it took 3 years and it flowered. I didn't even know they flowered. So I was super excited. And currently, like I'm staring at it right now, there's another offshoot that's going to be flowering probably in a month or so. So that's exciting. But
Wow.
you can pick up.
I got an orchid from Kroger. This one was the Kroger plant. Around the same time as I got Lori. I misremembered. Lori lasted a little past the semester, but died pretty quickly. The orchid did not stand a chance. And I don't know if that's because I just don't do well with flowering plants, because I haven't had many, but the couple I did, they've just all like not survived. But I do think it's because the pot that it was in when I bought it from Kroger was not the correct pot. It had no drainage holes, and I didn't know it was supposed to drain because I didn't know that much about plants, to be honest. I just had them and I thought they were cute in the beginning. So it was a bit of me not just not knowing, and like them selling it in the wrong pot, and they killed my plant. I blame them. It was their fault. But the roots were like deceased. It was done for. I don't think there was any saving it. But I named her Sanha because I thought the orchid was very pretty. It was a purple one, and she just gave like regal elegance. So Sanha in Hindi means elegance. And yeah, that's and also I had a character name list that I still have, but at the time I had several names that were just sitting there, and I just knew I was not going to make a character anytime soon to give this name. So I was going through that for inspiration. I saw Sanha and I was like, you. And I nicknamed her like Sani, I think, or San, one of them. It went back and forth. I miss her, actually. She was so pretty. But maybe I'll give an orchid another try.
You still have the potting mix.
They're apparently quite hard to kill. So the fact that it died in like 2.5 months is crazy. But, I blame Kroger.
I feel like there was a lady we ran into at Lowe's when you got Lori who told you the same thing, that peace lilies are like kind of hard to kill.
Because they'll let you know when they want water and stuff.
Yeah. Because I remember you like being extra like down about it because you're like, dang, that lady lied to me.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, R.I.P. Lori and Sanha. They are no longer with us.
And she.
Dang. Half my plants on my list I've killed.
I have been lucky to only that very first one that was supposed to be Charlie. That's the only one so far that hasn't made it.
Although Chi lasted a long time. So like I feel like maybe it was just bad.
Natural lifespan.
Yeah, or bad conditions at the time or something that we just weren't aware of. The other two, I think it's because you just shouldn't buy your plants from Kroger, and double check your Lowe's plants, because the peace lily was quite literally the only one hanging on to life. And the whole tray of peace lilies, they like half of them were browned and yellowed, and I just got the best looking one. So it was already.
Here's a moral to take home if you want to get into plants: get them from nurseries.
And I will get to that because I have a couple. But yes, just don't buy them from like a Kroger, because it's gonna die anyway. So speaking of peace lilies, I have another one now. I got this one from a plant nursery, and it's thriving. It's fine. But because my first peace lily, I had given it such a name that meant something to me because it came in a dream. I kind of didn't want to like let that go because it died so soon. And I was like, I was intending on having this plant for like a long time. So, oops. Yeah, that's incorrect.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely incorrect. So I was like, I haven't gone on my little cell parts name train in a while. So let's give this new plant a plant cell name. But I had a hard time. Like I was really going through, I literally looked up a picture from like somebody's 8th grade notebook and looked at the plant cells, and I'm like, what part that don't sound right. That's boring. So I went with Cleo because of chloroplast. And it was a bit of a stretch, but I was like, the C and the L sound from chloroplast, Cleo, we're going to go with that. But I also wanted to pay homage to my first piece, Lily Laurie. So her full name is Cleo Laurie, but it's spelled Laurii because this was you. You gave me this idea because the 2 I's is like the number 2 in Roman numerals. And it's like a call to the fact that this one's like a junior, but it's a girl. So I don't really know what you call. Girls don't really have suffixes like that. So I was like, yeah, Cleo Laurie, but I kind of just call her Cleo. Or like CL in my head sometimes. But yeah.
Cleo Laurie's a pretty name.
It is. Together. Like, it just looks pretty. It just feels right. So yeah, she's alive. She's growing some of the flowers now. Like, I see like 2 of them budding in. So I'm excited because Laurie didn't do that. And if it did, it died immediately. So yay.
So I have a Christmas cactus, and I'll say Christmas cactus in air quotes because there are apparently like Thanksgiving cactus, there's an Easter cactus, like
holiday cactus.
Yeah, and my grandma has always, because I got this one again, I took this one from my grandma as well. She's always said it's a Christmas cactus, so that's just what I know it as. And I got that one December 2021, and his name is Nick. That's also from an Instagram story.
Like Saint Nick?
Yeah, I think because it's Christmas related, like it's a Christmas cactus.
Like a logical train of thought.
Right. But then I think in my head also, it was like an inside joke because Phoenix Wright's nickname is Nick by Maya, right? Mm-hmm. Maya calls him Nick. So it was kind of like a double name for me. But I didn't think I had the conditions in my bedroom for Nick to ever flower, because my grandma always says when she brings them in for, like, when the weather starts to get cold, she brings her plants from outside inside, and they're normally in a darker spot, and that's when they flower. So I was like, I don't do any of that, so it's never going to flower. But last year, it flowered, and I was very surprised and very excited. It had 1 flower, but like that was 1 more than I ever expected. So that's Nick. And then our late aunt gave me, I think did we both get one from her? I can't remember.
Mine died. I don't remember what happened to mine.
Well, that was March 2022. It is a sweetheart leaf, a sweetheart Hoya leaf, and I named it. This is an anime reference. If you've ever seen D. Gray Man, there's a character named Lena Lee. Lena Lee is her name.
Yeah.
So I named the plant Lena, but her full name is Lena Lee Leaf because it was just hilarious to me. So there's Lena, and then you can do your last 2 and I can do my last 2.
Okay. I actually just don't remember what plant I got from her. So I don't know if it's dead or not. I just don't remember what it was.
Yeah, because she usually will get us both things. So she couldn't give one a plant without the other having a plant.
So from the same plant nursery that I got Cleo Laurie, I talked about this in like 2 episodes ago, but I have a calathea named Asha, and that's from a couple different cultures. It's like in Arabic and Swahili and Turkish. They kind of mean more or less like wish, desire. I think in Swahili it's like life. But that was in a time where I was like, I need hope in my future because I don't know if I'm finna graduate. So I got the plant and was like, I got Cleo and Asha at the same time. And I was like, I want one to have a goofy name and one to have like a deep meaning to like manifest the semester. So that was what that one was named for. And she is thriving like from the beginning. She's never like, her leaves are a little brown at the tips of some of them, but like I'm not worried about Asha. Like my peace lily scared me a while ago. I thought it was like not gonna make it. That was my fault. But Asha is like the one going the strongest out of all of them, to be honest. Like Mito and Asha, they are the strongest soldiers. And then my last one I have on my list is a Monstera. I don't know how you pronounce it. Adansoni, scientific name, also known as the Swiss cheese plant. My friend gave me a propagation from her Swiss cheese plant. And I was like, well, since you gave this to me, you should name it for me because I name all my plants. She doesn't. So I was like, well, now you're going to have to make your brain cells work for me because I don't know exactly what to name it, but I want it to be something related to you since you gave it to me. And I was like, it's fine if it's just the first name that comes to mind. It doesn't have to be like this deep thing. She was like, Raphael. And I was like, okay.
Raphael it is.
Raphael it is. I don't know why. I was like, give me a little nickname I can call it sometimes because I give my plants nicknames. She was like, Rafa. So I was like, there we go. Raphael. So I spell it Raffael because I don't know, in my head, Rafa being shortened, it just looks better with the F's.
Isn't that how it's spelled?
There's like 4 or 5 different ways you can spell Raphael. Like
that makes sense.
RA1FAEL, RAPHAEL. Like it's quite a few different ones, but I chose the double F one because I don't know, I just liked how it looked. And Raphael had like two major leaves. One of them died. I think it was already sickly though, but it has a little trail now, so he's going strong. I'm proud of Raphael. I was really scared for a bit because I was like, you gave me a little sickly little, but no, it's fine. And yeah, so I don't kill all my plants, guys. I think I just have bad luck I'm like low-key cursed, but she was going strong for like 8 years. But anyway.
Yeah, so my last 2 plants, I literally only found out today what type of plant this is because I always wondered. And I did find out that I was calling it an elephant ear plant. And then I realized that I was wrong, but I never found out what it actually was until earlier today. So I have an arrowhead plant, which it's called that, but I guess it's more commonly called by its scientific name, which is, I don't know, Syngonium podophyllum. I also propagated this from my grandma's plant, and I named her April. I was not creative with this one. I propagated her in April, so her name was April.
Did you get it in April?
Yes, it was April 2022. And she was growing kind of weird for a while, and so one day I chopped her up into little propagatable pieces and repropagated her and replanted her. And it was
chopped her up. Like you couldn't
cut her up.
Separated it.
Well, because I was cutting. But anyway, yeah. So it was for the best because she started growing much better after that. I had to do that with Nick. I've done that with Judy, and I may or may not have done that with Holly. But sometimes you just gotta you gotta go back to the drawing board with some of these plants.
The cutting board, apparently.
And then my last plant is an unnamed plant that I got in June 2023 when my grandma went to a baby shower for one of her friend's daughters, and they had all the tables decorated with real succulents. So my grandma was like, y'all like plants, so I bought y'all a plant from the baby shower. I found out today again, this is, I never knew what it was. I just knew it was a succulent. It is a Haworthia cooperi, or Cooper's Haworthia. And it's these little, well, you'll see a picture.
Haworthia is a name, bro.
Yes. And it's doing all right. It probably could be doing better. I don't really know the care for it. I just treat it like I treat CJ and my other succulents. I don't water them as often. But it's hanging in there. So those are all of my plants, and most of them are doing pretty good. Rava has been, I don't know. I'm a little concerned about her. I think it might be time for her to get another pot.
Is that the snake plant?
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's been yellowing a lot, and
it looks cramped. Is it supposed to be cramped?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, it likes to be really contained in its pot, but it gets to a certain point where something's not right. So it could be lack of fertilizer. It could be that I need to change the soil, because you're supposed to cycle out your soil ever so often, and I don't know when's the last time I did that for her. So when the spring comes, I'll be doing some maintenance, like some deep maintenance on some of my plants because they need it. But yeah, that was our plant tour. If you have any plants, we would love to hear about them because I love hearing about people's plants. And
tell me their names if they have any.
And yeah, we are gonna wrap this one up because we actually needed it to be a short episode this time,
we have places to be.
but we couldn't help ourselves and we're a little bit over. So anyway, be sure to keep up with us on social media at On a Related Note Pod on Twitter and on Instagram, and subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can search On a Related Note anywhere you listen to your podcast if you prefer to listen rather than watch. Although this episode you might want to watch because it's probably going to be visual heavy.
Lot of pictures.
We're going to be putting a lot of pictures of our plants. But anyway, that is us. Those are our plants. And yeah.
Until we have again. Bye.